Good morning, good morning, good morning, beloved. My name is David McDonald, and welcome back to another daily devotional. This day of 4 of 5, 9 a.m., the last 4 days. And to all my brothers and sisters out there, you have been committed. You have shown a lot of love, and I greatly appreciate that. And I hope that this has brought some level of value. Please remember that we now have our donation-based coaching sessions that are going to be available, or consultation services. So if you need or seek counsel in, marital things, personal life things, finance things, spiritual development things, please drop me a DM. You donate what you can, but I don't hold back on the value that I'll provide. But with that being said, we are going to get into the devotional, and it is titled today, Be Wonder. And this one is really nice. I held a spiritual, not a spiritual, but a all black men's retreat last year, and I remember one of the brothers was talking about how he moves so fast. He never really has time to slow down. And then I asked the question. I said, "When was the last time you checked in with your feet?" And this daily devotional today actually reminds me a lot of that question, and where I was coming from with that. And so let's begin. Be wonder. Jesus had a busy ministry. He was always going from one place to another, but he moved at what I like to call God's speed. And what speed was that? 3 miles an hour. That is how fast an average person walks. As Jesus traveled the Holy Land, dropping miracles, signs, and wonders everywhere, he went. He did it at 3 miles per hour. Because of his slow speed, Jesus could tell stories, have conversations, connect with individuals, and with his community. Not being in a hurry made space for wonder. It allowed him to be human. What are some simple ways that you can slow down this week? Maybe take a walk without your phone. Experience things around you that you haven't experienced before because you have only driven down that road. Another thing I love to do is not use GPS to get places. This is actually something that I do too. What happens when you do that? You end up getting lost. Getting lost is something that allows us to tap into our humanity. Here's the thing. Humanity, up until the last 100 years or so, used to get lost all of the time. There is something beautiful about that. Getting lost opens our senses in ways we have long since forgotten. There is something human about finding your way. So turning off your phone before you go somewhere, revert to 1992 when you would have to write down the directions before you left home and then follow those directions to get where you are going. MapQuest, right? I did this last week and I loved it. I had to stop and ask for directions 3 times. The interaction I had with the gas station attendants pulled us back 30 years. It was incredible. Want to leave your phone on? That's fine. You can still relearn what it's like to get lost. Slow down, wonder more, wander more. You might just find God's speed feels more human. And then here's the question that we'll come back to later, after we finish this devotional. So this is Isaiah 40. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on the wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Matthew 11. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. And finally, therefore, I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow? They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon, in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God's clothes, if that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow, is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? So do not worry, saying, what shall we eat? Or what shall we drink? Or what shall we fear? Or excuse me, yeah, what shall we fear? Or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all of these things will be given to you as well. Therefore, do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own and enough glory of its own, I believe. Day 4 complete. All right, now, so um this is, oh, excuse me. This is a powerful thing. And I say that because when you know what you know, so as you get to know Christ, at least I can speak for myself. As I've gotten to know Christ more and more, there's things that I become less and less worried or concerned about. And upon that process of getting saved, all of the worries, troubles, sins, anxieties, guilt, everything that you've experienced on earth is forgiven. And what happens is all of this pressure releases. And so for me, like I mentioned before in some of my comments, it happened 3 days after. It happened 3 days after I was saved. I was meditating on my couch, and I just felt like this weight lift. And I was like, I didn't have any understanding, or I didn't watch any videos on what it's supposed to be like. None of that. And I felt like this weight lift off of my shoulders. And then I feel like my walk then started. And so I've always been one who's known God, right? From the standpoint of I know He exists. I've always lived my life trying to be a good person and treat people with respect, right? I haven't changed in that regard or in that right. And as I now, but now that I'm in my walk, I can tell you the God that I knew before and the God that I know now is just two different experiences. And so my point is to drive home when I don't pray for money and I don't pray for food, right? I know that my Father is going to give that to us or to me. And so I can tell you, for a lot of people who may know me, I've been in the space where and I'm going to conclude here. But I've been in the space where, and then the question, but I've been in the space where I was very, very big on self help, and I was reading a ton of books, and I was really involved in just knowing more about myself and the spiritual world and how God works and how the universe works, right? And I can tell you all those things are great until I realized that all of these books are sampling from the Bible. I read one chapter in the Bible, completely blown away. And I was like, wow, I read 10 books. And in one chapter, like in literally one page of this chapter, I got more knowledge and I had more answers revealed to me than I did in reading 10 books that took me however many months. And so, again, I'm only sharing my testimony as a point of reference, but I can tell you that the way that I think about it or the way that I know about it is the self help stuff teaches you how to be independent. It's all on you, it's all about how good you are, how much of a master of a craft you are. And we all know that I'm really big on that. At the same time, when you're following God, right? When you're following God and He's guiding your footsteps, right? And you're living for His will now, you have to depend on God. And you have to be childlike when you depend on Him. So for those of us who have children, very easy to see. If you have a daughter, if you have a son, if you have both, the way that your child depends on you to provide food for them is the way that I depend on God as my Father and my guide in this life to provide food for me. And I get up and I tie my shoes and I get out there and I know work. I know all of these things, right? I know how to work. I know how to get out there and grind. I know. Okay, let's tone it down a little bit. Let's take some time to wonder, right? Let's lean in a little bit into God and or a lot of bit into God and trust that He's going to be there to provide for us in all things that we do. He will guide our lips, He will guide our feet, He will guide our hearts, He will guide everything that there is about us to be led. And so the question, which was I'm going to end on this note. The question is, what is something you can do this week to slow down and increase your sense of wonder. And for me, this has been a really interesting thing that I've been involved in because I've been slow. So I went through a recent transition with one of my businesses. And so I sold it, and it all came through a series of messaging throughout this walk while I was going through my valley, and while everything in my life was kind of, experiencing this earthquake. And and so I was forced to slow down. And for somebody who's the type A like me, who I'm like, go, 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 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 irons in the pot. We're working with people, they're elevating their life. I'm elevating my life. Everybody's winning, everybody's eating, and there's a platform for just alleviating all of those irons and putting some of those irons out, even though productive, right? Perceivingly productive, putting out those and really just leaning into peace of not doing anything, right? You can work as hard as you want. You can go as hard as you want every day. And I'm talking 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in the morning until 6, and then spending time with your family and being that guy. What's one thing that I'm going to do to increase my wonders? Just slow down and remove more things off of my plate and spend more time with God. And I've received and experienced an incredible amount of peace, beloved, and I can't express that to you enough. And I believe in a world where there is so much division, especially now. This type of peace is definitely necessary, and I'm telling you, there's nothing on earth that can satisfy this peace that I'm describing, or that can give you this peace that I'm describing. There's no books that you can read. There's no car that you can drive. There's no house that you can buy. There's no wife or husband that you can have. This peace that I'm experiencing, it's in all of us, but it's up to us to execute and take the steps to get to it. So with that, I hope you take this devotional to I hope you take this time. Sorry, I was just reading this comment. I hope you take this time today to slow down, whether it be spending time with your kids, whether it be at work, and just understand that because everything is in God's will, you do not have to be in control all of the time. Quite frankly, ever. So you got to make progressive steps forward, but just understand and know that everything's in God's will. And with that knowingness, you can find peace. So with that, love you guys. And I see you, cuz. Shout out to the family. Much love to you guys. And I'll be in touch with you tomorrow, 9 a.m. And then we have study. We have devotional. We have study guide, Bible reading today at 6:30 p.m. So if you want the Zoom link, send me a message. Have a good day, beloved, and we'll be in touch. All right, bye.